Only 2000 Lukso to be a crypto millionaire by the end of 2025 in the bull market. Welcome back, my name is Stan, I'm the CEO and co-founder of International Custom Software Development Company. We build products for the City of New York, SAP and General Electric. I've done more than $15 million in custom software sales, and on this channel I'm showing my strategy on turning $500,000 into 10 million by the end of 2025. In this video we'll go through Lukso, layer 1 blockchain by one of the original engineers on Ethereum, which I believe would be top 15 project by the end of 2025. I will also share why I keep holding the token, where I will be taking profits, where I will be DCAing in more, and how you can also make money on this opportunity. So let's start with the chart. We see that Lukso currently is at 10.1 value, and it was at 7.3 when I initially mentioned it in my video. So the first video that I've mentioned about Lukso is about exactly 1 month ago, and you see here that I have 56k worth of Lukso at 7.6. Currently I have 73k at the current prices of $10.07, and it's quite interesting that not a lot of people, they're essentially doing any videos, any video content on YouTube about Lukso. So if you would check on YouTube, you would only see my videos mostly. I've done around 3 to 4 videos recently, and essentially it's a very quite an interesting thing because no one is talking about this project yet. At the same time, there are a lot of influencers on Twitter who are just shouting about Lukso all the time, all day, and they were doing this for last 4 years as well, which is quite interesting by itself. But this is the current situation that we have. In terms of the levels and things that I wanted to share as well, if you would want to kind of short-term trade this thing, I would be taking profit somewhere at around 10.5, 11.6, and at the same time I would want to buy more in DCA in, and these are just golden levels for purchasing more, 6.85 and 6.61 as well. These are very good levels to increase the size of the holdings in your portfolio as well. One of the reasons why I'm bullish on this project is because of this picture, this screenshot basically. So we have here original engineering team of Ethereum. We have Vitalik, who was on the engineering team. We have Charles Hoskinson, who was on the engineering team. We have Gavin Wood, who was also on the engineering team, and Fabian. Fabian was on the engineering team of Ethereum, and he essentially delivered the protocol ERC20 for all the tokens on Ethereum, and essentially bunch of tokens, like most of the tokens that you know of, they are based on this protocol one way or another. If they are not on Ethereum, they're essentially using something similar on different chains. And it's an interesting type of thing that we see that Ethereum has 350 billion market cap at this stage. Charles, Cardano, it has 30 billion market cap. DOT has 90 billion market cap, and Lukso is only, I think, 0.3 at this stage. And if we would just compare Lukso to the market cap of DOT, we would see that we should have at least 60x from here, and essentially one Lukso should be $649. So if we would essentially be even more conservative in terms of that, we might be shooting for a Lukso at $500 a token, which would mean that with only 2000 Lukso tokens at this stage, you would be able to become a crypto millionaire by the end of 2025. 2000 Lukso tokens at this stage, they are already at about $20,000. So someone might say that it's quite expensive, but I already showed you levels where I think the token might see somewhere in the future in terms of these levels. So you would be able to DCA in and buy more of this token and essentially accumulate this token over time. Why I'm bullish on the whole thing as well is because the main focus of Lukso is creative economy, and at the same time be able to onboard more people in the crypto, into Web3, which is quite bullish by itself, just because of the fact the more people you have in Web3, the more liquidity you would essentially have in the Web3. And there is still a crazy high threshold from the user experience point of view to be able to get into the whole thing, and at the same time to be able to pay different commissions, to use different dApps, to transact and things like that. And Lukso is actually solving this as well. So they have universal profiles, which is like Instagram type of user experience that a lot of Web2 users, they already know at this stage. And at the same time, they also have a technology that allows users not to transact with each action that they're doing with dApps on Web3. So it allows users to use dApps without spending their own money. And I can can guarantee you that if people would have to pay small amounts of money to transact on Facebook or on Instagram, to press a like on Instagram, they won't be doing that. And on Luxa, you have the technology that is removing that from the shoulders of the users and allowing them to use Web3 dApps without spending money, which is huge from the user experience point of view and would essentially increase and improve the valuation of the whole market, capitalization of the whole market, and Luxa in the first place as well, which is quite bullish from my point of view. We also see here a bunch of influencers that are posting constantly in terms of Luxa, different news and things like that. It was recently accepted to Ledger, and currently with Ledger you can manipulate and store your Luxa on the hard wallet, which is quite bullish and quite interesting by itself. It recently was also listed on Crypto.com, which is quite bullish by itself for the US audience as well. So we see certain movements in the token, and they did not even start like full marketing campaign yet. And I think they're waiting for the best time for it to make sure that the outputs that they would be getting from each marketing wallet would be at the highest in terms of them essentially spending money for marketing and getting the highest output. And this highest output they would be see at the peak of the bull market, so end of 2024, end of 2025, by many projections that a lot of people essentially think and project in terms of how the markets will be moving as well. One of the bullish event that is happening in January as well is that they are running a bunch of hackathons. And for non-tech people, hackathons are basically events where you gather a bunch of engineers and they present the solutions, or they try to build a specific solution in short-term time frame and then present this solution to a commission. And this commission is either approves or disapproves of the solution, and winners, they basically get grants from Lukso for the development of the platforms moving forward as well. So it's a very bullish event for any blockchain in order to basically get more builders, more developers on the platform. So more people would be essentially providing products and different dApps on the platform. There would be more liquidity, more transactions. So it's a very bullish event from one point of view. From another point of view, of course, if they're only now onboarding engineers, that would mean that they would need a lot of time to build the product, to launch them and things like that. So that's why I think the most bullish we will be with Luxa is end of 2024 and then end of 2025. So it definitely takes time to build this type of products, to launch them, to actually make it functional in the first place as well. But that's why I think that it's a very nice zone still to accumulate more of Luxa token. If you don't have this 2000 mark of Luxa tokens, feel free to get yourself a large allocation of Luxa, because I think you would do very well by the end of 2024, 2025. And just speaking of the narratives, because in crypto a lot of people, they're essentially trading based on the narrative that we see here is creative economy, is social fi, is improvement of the user experience. I would say these are very bullish narratives. I think they would be picked up greatly at the end of 2024. And essentially a very interesting thing is that creative economy is something that is basically a very bullish niche, a very bullish narrative since the introduction of social media at the end of 2008, 2009. Essentially, creative economy is something that is very bullish narrative by itself for the last like 10 to 15 years already. We don't have a lot of things like that happening on the blockchain. I would say that maybe only NFTs, they were connected with this narrative in a certain way, and they were just crazy in terms of how much they were pumping, and most things that they were doing, they were just sucking out liquidity from people, so taking money on the promises and things like that. And I think with Luxa, because it's basically a blockchain to transact, to build dApps, and to show your content and be appreciated for your content as well, I don't think that it will essentially follow the same path as NFTs in terms of having this negative type of influence. I would say that it would mostly have positive type of influence in terms of the whole thing, in terms of the project, and in terms of the things that would be happening with the product and with the blockchain as well. And one of the last things that I wanted to showcase and show again is just how the user experience, how the UI feels on the whole platform, on the whole thing. So very bullish on the platform. I think there is a high chance that it might be top 15, top 20, top 10 token by the end of 2025 if they would essentially succeed and find a product market fit. But anyway, if you even do not believe that the team would be able to deliver, despite the fact we have Fabian there who has developed ERC20 and they've been building for 5 to 6 years and it's a full proper engineering team, if you even do not believe that they would be able to deliver and find product market fit, I think even narrative wise, it's definitely a product that would outperform the market in terms of the narratives, and people will still be investing in this narrative and essentially pumping the product up. So from my point of view, I think this token would outperform the market, outperform the BTC. That's why I think it's a great investment. As mentioned, it's a safe haven for me. So it's the largest bag that I have. When I'm taking profits from speculative positions, I either take them into stable coins or into LYX, because it's quite great, and it's a very, very nice projection that it shows, because when the market dumped, it didn't dump much as well. So it continued to grow, and it's one of these projects that was actually able to grow and essentially grow after the dump and recover the fastest. So it's always great to see something like this happening, and it's bullish for any project, because it means that it's just in a very healthy stage currently in terms of the current situation for the project on the market. And I think there's a high chance that it will surge higher as well. But again, it's not a short-term bet, it's a long-term bet. So if you're entering this token, or if you're essentially looking for a play that you would like to have a safe bet for yourself, I think it might be a very great and nice choice following the updates and the things that are happening with the project as well. So we just reached $10 when I'm recording this video as well. If you like the content, feel free to like and subscribe. Feel free to check my previous videos about LYX as well, because I was doing a full technical product and business overview on the platform at this stage. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.